Randall, cult movie director Russ Meyer, and musical guest, the Afghan Wigs. And we're also going to have six-time winner of the Ironman Triathlon, Paula Newby-Fraser. So check it out.
Yeah. They didn't know the Afghan Wigs.
Oh, they did. They love the Afghan Wigs.
They clapped. They're Pavlov's audience.
Settle down.
I know the young people's music. I've never heard of them.
I'm going to get you a horse steroid. All right, let's move along.
That's the band next week.
Without my next guest, Without my next guest, the supermarket would be merely a place we'd get our bread and milk. Instead, it's also a place where we can learn about Elvis. He's indeed alive. President Clinton gets visited by aliens and all kinds of fun stuff. Please welcome from the Weekly World News, my pals, Salvatore, Ivone, and reporter Jack Alexander. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good to see you. Now, what do you do for the Weekly World News specifically?
I'm the managing editor.
You're the managing editor, and
I'm just a writer.
Just a writer.
He's much more than
have
just a writer.
some self-respect.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I'm a writer.
He's much more than just a writer.
Now, first of all, I thought it would be a good idea to start off with just a sampling of some of your work.
I brought some stuff here.
Familiarize with people.
Yeah, this is stuff that people might see anytime in any supermarket tabloid.
There you go. Oh, that's a good one. FBI.
Yeah.
FBI captures Bat Child.
See, you're not just a writer. That's science fiction.
Yeah, that's very
Takes
good.
a lot of creativity.
Now, this is
I love your paper. I read it all the time.
Behave. Taking your hat away. All right. Now this is okay. Well, please flip away for us.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Here's the next.
JFK meets Jackie for the first time in 30 years. This is actual. When did this come out? When did this story break?
A couple of months ago, somebody sent us these photos. Actually, sent us these photos. We thought this is something that we have to publish. This is something that America has to see.
He looks pretty good for taking a bullet in the head.
Oh man! Please, bringing the room down.
It took a long time for Lincoln to get up and walk around.
Speaking of which, Abraham Lincoln's corpse revived.
About a minute and a half.
Yeah. That was about,
he was alive for how long?
for a minute and a half.
That's pretty good. He's been dead like 140 years.
Yeah, but here's what we...
He wanted to know how the play ended.
We need a rim shot for these, Max.
We got a guy who called us from the government. He said that he had this story, and he said that there was a drug called Revivitol, and that this is something that was done, and would we like the story? We said, of course we want the story. It's something that America needs to know.
That's very nice.
He woke up and he said, gentlemen, where am I? And then he died again.
Really? I think that's a redux Hemsley.
And then we have this one. I don't know if you're...
Thank you very much. That's about as credible as the other ones, I would say.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you guys something. Obviously, you're lying. None of this is true. You'll admit that to America, I'm sure.
I will not admit that to America, not at all.
These are all fabrications and lies.
Well, here's what we do.
I feel like I'm trying to expose pro wrestling. It's like a straw doll.
Somebody will say, my wife ran away with Bigfoot. She's gone. I don't see her anymore. We don't say to this guy, we're going to question you we're not going to question ourselves out of a good story. We're going to run that story. That's going to be a headline for us.
Now, what counts as a source for you? This is something that you've carefully researched, or is it a guy you meet at the subway at like 4 in the morning?
All we've got to do is if somebody makes a claim, and it's a good claim, it makes a good headline, that's good enough for us. It's unlike... We're not going to be the New York Times. We're not going to make the call to this.
Nah, don't be hard on yourself.
And don't forget, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and all these other papers are going to do one kind of a job. We're going to do a totally different job, which is after you've read about NAFTA, you've read about Bosnia, and all those other news stories, I want you to read about the corpse of Lincoln being revived.
Well, people should know about that.
Absolutely.
Now, wait, you guys, I have to ask, you guys do come from serious journalism at one point. Is that true?
Somewhere back there, yeah.
Somewhere back there? How did you get your start? Where do you come from?
Well, you know, I've been in a regular daily newspapers 30 years, and of course it helped because I knew the editor of the paper. We're good friends, and so he asked me to come down. I retired after 30 years, and I've been here 10 and a half, so...
And this is more fun. I would imagine this is a lot more fun. You don't have to actually research anything. You can just say, yeah, I saw Lincoln riding a cab and write it up.
Quite often we do.
envision you guys sitting around smoking some big fat ones going. I got it.
Very inventive. There's a lot of
bowling with JFK's Colt.
That's a fair assessment. No?
It is in some ways. What we do, though, is seriously, we'll go through 2,000 newspapers a week, 2,000 magazines a week, looking for the kernel of 2 inches that becomes a 2-page spread for us.
And then bastardize it.
No, we say enhance it. That's
enhance. You say bastardize.
We enhance it. We turn it into something that's going to be a wonderful story. We rarely get bad mail of any sort. We rarely get any negative feedback. And it's hard to believe, as it may seem, but each of these.
Yeah, well.
Oh, you know that.
That Anger's done a lot of great work.
You're a fan.
We read nothing else but.
Making up. What do you mean, Eddie? Oh, yeah, that isn't my favorite. You don't even work for the World Weekly News.
Gentlemen, I'm afraid we're going to have to step away. We're going to have to step away. We've run out of time, but we will discuss these serious issues during the commercial break. We'll be right back with Bad Religion. That's our show for the night. I want to thank my guests, the editors of the Weekly World News. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for being here. Of course, my special thanks to Bob Goldthwait. Thank you very much. You're welcome. And my thanks to Bad Religion for being here. All right. Now, I'm very, very sorry. Once again, we ran out of time for economist Woodrow Thomas. I really apologize. And we'll try very hard to have him on soon. I'm very sorry, Mr. Thomas. We'll work it out. And, of course, my thanks to Andy Richter, the Max Weinberg 7. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow night.